Tim Allen wasn't always the cheerful, funny guy we saw on Home Improvement and Toy Story. Behind the scenes, he harbored a deep resentment towards someone close to him. Home Improvement was a beloved show, filled with laughs and family moments. But there's a darker story behind the humor.
I look at the
person that Tim Allen truly hated. Was it a fellow actor, a crew member, or someone from his personal life? Get ready to uncover the surprising truth and learn more intriguing details about Tim Allen's life and career. Early life and family dynamics. Timothy Allen Dick, known to the world as Tim Allen, was born on June 13, 1953, in Denver, Colorado. He was the third of 6 children in a family that experienced both happiness and heartbreak. Allen's father, Gerald Dick, was a real estate agent, and his mother, Martha Catherine Fox, was a community service worker. The Dick family lived a relatively normal life until tragedy struck in 1964. When Tim was just 11 years old, his father was killed in a car accident. This sudden and devastating loss left a profound impact on young Tim, shaping his outlook on life and his future. 2 years after his father's death, Tim's mother remarried. This new chapter brought a stepfather into Tim's life, a figure who would become central to his hidden struggle. The relationship between Tim and his stepfather was strained from the beginning. As a grieving teenager, Tim found it difficult to accept another man in the paternal role. His stepfather's strict and authoritarian approach to parenting only exacerbated the tension. This clash created a foundation of resentment that would grow over the years and influence many aspects of Tim's life. The loss of his father and the arrival of a stepfather. Tim resented pushed him towards acts of rebellion during his teenage years. He started experimenting with drugs and alcohol, behaviors that were partly a means of coping with his unresolved grief and partly an act of defiance against the authority figures in his life. Tim's comedic talent began to emerge during these years, often as a defense mechanism to deflect the pain he was feeling. Humor became his way of dealing with the world, a skill that would later become his greatest asset. Despite the turbulence at home, Tim Allen managed to pursue higher education. He attended Central Michigan University before transferring to Western Michigan University in 1974. It was here that he discovered his passion for comedy. He started performing stand-up routines at a local comedy club, honing his skills and developing a style that resonated with audiences. His ability to find humor in everyday situations and his relatable everyman persona quickly made him a favorite among comedy club patrons. However, the resentment towards his stepfather continued to simmer beneath the surface, influencing his comedy in subtle ways. The turning point. As Tim Allen's comedy career began to take off, he faced another major challenge that would shape his future. In 1978, he was arrested for possession of over 650 grams of cocaine. Facing a potential life sentence, Tim made the difficult decision to cooperate with authorities and testify against his accomplices. This decision resulted in a reduced sentence of 3 to 7 years in prison, of which he served just over 2 years. This period of incarceration was a turning point for Allen. It forced him to confront his past actions and the underlying issues that had led him down such a dangerous path. During his time in prison, Tim Allen continued to use humor as a coping mechanism. He entertained fellow inmates with his comedic routines, further refining his skills. The experience also gave him time to reflect on his life, his choices, and the unresolved feelings he had towards his stepfather. It was a period of intense introspection that would ultimately contribute to his growth as both a person and a performer. After getting out of prison in 1981, Tim Allen decided to give comedy another shot. He moved to the sunny city of Los Angeles and started performing stand-up at a famous comedy club called The Comedy Store. He quickly became a regular there, making people laugh with his jokes and funny stories. But Tim didn't just stick to stand-up. He also started appearing on late-night talk shows and even had his own comedy specials on TV and film. He was becoming a well-known comedian, and his career was taking off. In 1998, Tim's old college, Western Michigan University, gave him an honorary degree in fine arts and a special award for being an awesome alum. It was a proud moment for Tim, showing how far he had come since his college days. Tim once said in an interview that he could only act well if he could connect the role to his own life experiences. He felt that if he didn't have personal experiences to draw from, he wouldn't be able to play the part convincingly. This shows how important it is for actors to be able to relate to their characters and bring their own unique perspectives to their roles. Tim's first movie role was in a film called Tropical Snow in 1988. He played a small part as a baggage handler, but it was a start. He was on his way to becoming a big-time movie star, known for his comedic roles and his ability to make people laugh. Rising to stardom. His big break came in 1991 when he was cast as Tim the Toolman Taylor in the ABC sitcom Home Improvement. The show was an instant hit, catapulting Allen to stardom and making him a household name. Home Improvement ran for 8 successful seasons, during which Allen's portrayal of the bumbling yet lovable handyman endeared him to millions of viewers. Home Improvement was more than just a television show. It became a cultural phenomenon. Tim the Toolman Taylor, with his trademark grunt and humorous takes on masculinity, became a beloved character. The show struck a chord with audiences by combining humor with heartwarming family dynamics. Even though Home Improvement ended in 1999, the story didn't stop there. In 2003, most of the main actors got together for a special TV show called Tim Allen Presents: A User's Guide to Home Improvement. It was like a reunion, where they shared behind-the-scenes secrets and funny stories from the show. Sadly, Earl Hindman, who played Wilson, was too sick to be there in person, but he did voiceovers for the show, just like his character always did from behind the fence. A few years later, in 2011, the surviving cast members got together again for a magazine photo shoot. It was a happy reunion, and they even got to see Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who hadn't been around since he left the show in 1998. Some of the actors from Home Improvement even showed up on Tim Allen's other sitcom, Last Man Standing. Richard Karn, who played Al, guest-starred in 2 episodes, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas even directed a few episodes. Patricia Richardson also made a guest appearance, playing a funny character named Helen Potts, and Jonathan even played her son in the episode. It was a fun way to bring the Home Improvement family back together. In 2015, there were rumors that Tim Allen and Richard Karn were talking about bringing back Home Improvement for a new series or a special movie. They thought it would be fun to see what the characters are up to now and how tool time would look in today's world. But nothing has happened yet, so we'll have to wait and see. In 2021, Tim Allen brought back his character, Tim Taylor, for 1 episode of Last Man Standing. It was a fun way to revisit the character and see what he's been up to since the 90s. Tim Allen and Richard Karn also teamed up for 2 shows on the History Channel. Assembly Required is a competition show where people build cool tools, kind of like on Tool Time. And More Power is a documentary series about the history of tools, which is also a nod to the Tool Time show. Even though Home Improvement has been off the air for many years, it's clear that people still love the show and its characters. The reunions, guest appearances, and new shows are all proof of that. Home Improvement was more than just a sitcom. It was a part of our lives, and will always have a special place in our hearts for Tim, Jill, Al, and the rest of the Taylor family. Behind the scenes, however, Allen's unresolved issues with his stepfather continued to influence his work. The character of Tim Taylor, with his frequent references to his own father and the challenges of being a dad, often mirrored Allen's real-life struggles and feelings. Buzz Lightyear and Beyond. In 1995, Tim Allen's voice soared to new heights when he voiced Buzz Lightyear in Disney's blockbuster animated film Toy Story. It was a huge hit, and kids everywhere fell in love with the Space Ranger with a heart of gold. This was a major milestone for Tim, as it showcased his versatility as an actor and introduced him to a whole new audience. The following year, in 1997, Tim starred in another family-friendly comedy called Jungle to Jungle. This time, he played a businessman whose life is turned upside down when he discovers he has a son living in the Amazon rainforest. It was a fun and heartwarming movie that further cemented Tim's reputation as a family-friendly actor. Tim returned to voice Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 2 in 1999, which was another massive hit. The movie was praised for its humor, heartwarming story, and stunning animation. It was clear that Buzz Lightyear had become an iconic character, and Tim's voice was an integral part of his charm. In 1999, Tim also starred in Galaxy Quest, a hilarious sci-fi parody that poked fun at popular shows like Star Trek. He played Jason Nesmith, a washed-up actor who finds himself on a real-life space adventure. The movie was a critical and commercial success, showcasing Tim's ability to poke fun at himself and his own fame. But Tim didn't just stick to comedy. In 2008, he took on a dramatic role in David Mamet's Red Belt, playing an aging action star who struggles to maintain his dignity and sense of self. This departure from his usual comedic roles demonstrated his range as an actor and his willingness to tackle more serious subject matter. In between these projects, Tim continued to star in family-friendly films, reprising his role as Scott Calvin in The Santa Claus 2 and playing Luther Crank, a man who decides to skip Christmas in Christmas with the Cranks. He also starred in the remake of The Shaggy Dog, bringing his comedic charm to the classic story. In 2006, Tim Allen's voice became synonymous with the beauty of his home state of Michigan when he started narrating the Pure Michigan commercials. You've probably heard his soothing voice talking about the Great Lakes, the forests, and all the other amazing things Michigan has to offer. These commercials became super popular, and you could hear them all over the Midwest and even across the whole country starting in 2009. Tim was a busy bee in 2010. He hosted the TV Land Awards, a big ceremony where they celebrate classic TV shows. He also returned to his iconic role as Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 3, the third movie in the beloved Pixar series. This time, Buzz and Woody went on a wild adventure at a daycare center, and Tim's voice brought the character to life once again. But that's not all. Tim also became the voice of Chevrolet Cruze cars, telling everyone how great they are in commercials. And if that wasn't enough, he even became the voice of Campbell's Soup, reminding us all how amazing soup can be. It seems like Tim Allen's voice was everywhere in 2010, and he was definitely one of the busiest guys in Hollywood. In 2011, Tim Allen made a comeback to TV on ABC with a new sitcom called Last Man Standing. It was a bit like Home Improvement, but this time he played Mike Baxter, a dad trying to hold his own in a house full of women. He was a conservative guy with strong opinions, and the show is often funny because of the clashes between his beliefs and the modern world. This character wasn't just made up, though. It was loosely based on Tim's own life and experiences as a husband and father. It's like he was playing a version of himself, but with a little extra humor and drama thrown in. The show ran for 6 seasons on ABC, but then it was canceled in 2017. This was a disappointment for Tim and the fans, but luckily, another network, Fox, picked it up for 3 more seasons. The show finally ended in May 2021 after 9 seasons of laughter and family fun. While Last Man Standing was still on the air, Tim also joined the cast of a funny Christmas movie on Netflix called El Camino Christmas. It was a different kind of role for him, and it showed his versatility as an actor. He also voiced Buzz Lightyear again in a cameo appearance in the movie Ralph Breaks the Internet, and then reprised the role for the 4th Toy Story movie in 2019. But Tim didn't just stick to acting. He also appeared in a documentary called No Safe Spaces, where he shared his thoughts on free speech and political correctness. It was a serious topic, But Tim brought his own humor and perspective to the conversation, and the fun doesn't stop there. In 2022, it was announced that Tim would be playing Scott Calvin again, the guy who accidentally becomes Santa Claus, in a new miniseries on Disney+. In 2022, Tim Allen teamed up with his old home improvement pal, Richard Karn, for a new show on the History Channel called More Power. It was like a real-life version of Tool Time, where they talked about the history of tools and showed people using cool and powerful machines. It was a fun way for them to reconnect and share their love of tools with the audience. But Tim wasn't done voicing our favorite Space Ranger just yet. In 2023, he announced that he'd be back as Buzz Lightyear for another Toy Story movie. Fans were excited to hear his familiar voice in the next adventure of Woody and the gang. And the fun doesn't stop there. In March 2024, Tim announced on his Facebook page that he's going to star in a brand new sitcom called Shifting Gears. This time, he'll play a grumpy old guy who owns a car repair shop. But things get interesting when his daughter and grandkids move in with him, and he has to learn how to be a family man again. It sounds like a heartwarming and funny show that will surely be a hit with fans. Tim Allen's career is still going strong, and he continues to entertain us with his humor and charm. He's a true icon of television, and we can't wait to see what he does next. Personal life and struggles. In his personal life, Tim Allen experienced both highs and lows. His first marriage to his college sweetheart, Laura, ended in 1999 after many years together. They had a daughter named Catherine, and despite the divorce, they remained committed to co-parenting and putting their daughter's well-being first. Then, in 2006, Tim found love again with actress Jane Hudgeduke. They focused on building their relationship for the first few years, enjoying each other's company and creating a strong bond. 3 years later, they welcomed their daughter, Elizabeth, into the world, completing their family. Despite the age difference between his daughters and having two different mothers, Tim worked hard to create a close-knit family. He wanted to be the best dad he could be, just like the character he played on Home Improvement. But even the best dads have their challenges. Tim has admitted that his daughters don't find him funny, often rolling their eyes or just staring blankly at his jokes. It's a funny reminder that even famous comedians aren't always appreciated by their own kids. In recent years, you might have noticed that Tim hasn't been in as many movies. That's because he's been focusing on his TV career and doing voice acting work. He's also dabbled in producing and directing, showing his versatility and passion for the entertainment industry. But Tim's journey hasn't always been easy. He's been open about his struggles with addiction and mental health. He's been sober for over 23 years now, and he credits his wife, Jane, for her unwavering support during his recovery. He's also learned to face his issues head-on, realizing that he can't hide from his problems anymore. Confronting the past. It wasn't until recent years that Tim Allen began to truly confront his past and the feelings of resentment he had harbored for so long. As he approached his 70th birthday, he found himself reflecting more deeply on his life and the experiences that had shaped him. In interviews and public appearances, he started to open up about his complicated relationship with his stepfather and the impact it had on his life. This newfound openness was a significant step towards healing and reconciliation, both with his past and with himself. In one particularly candid interview, Tim Allen spoke about the process of confronting his feelings and the importance of forgiveness. He acknowledged that his stepfather, despite their differences, had played a significant role in his upbringing and had done his best under challenging circumstances. Allen expressed a desire to let go of the resentment that had weighed him down for so many years and to find peace. This journey towards forgiveness was not easy, but it was a crucial step in his personal growth and his ability to move forward. The legacy. Tim Allen's story is a powerful reminder that even those who bring joy and laughter to others can have their own hidden struggles. His journey towards confronting his past and finding forgiveness is an inspiring example of resilience and personal growth. By sharing his story, Alan hopes to encourage others to face their own unresolved issues and to seek healing and reconciliation. It is a testament to the power of honesty and the importance of addressing the emotional baggage that we all carry. As Tim Allen continues to entertain audiences with his comedy and acting, his newfound honesty and openness add a deeper dimension to the man behind the characters we all love. His willingness to share his hidden struggles and the process of overcoming them is a valuable lesson for anyone facing similar challenges. It is a reminder that no matter how successful or accomplished we may appear on the outside, we all have our own battles to fight and our own journeys towards healing.